Gut health is everything. It's the first thing I start with sugar. I start with your gut health and I start with your diet. And when you get your gut health on track, God bless you, and you start getting chemicals out and we start tweaking your food, those two things alone, I've seen miracles happen.
Welcome to the Radical Health Rebel podcast. I'm your host, Lee Brandon. This work started for me several decades ago when I started to see the impact I could make on people, helping them to identify the root cause of their health problems that no doctor could figure out, including serious back, knee, shoulder and neck injuries, acne and eczema issues, severe gut health problems, even helping couples get pregnant after several IVF treatments had failed. And it really moves me to be able to help people in this way. And that is why I do what I do and why we have this show. Welcome to another episode of the Radical Health Rebel podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us, Jenn Edden, a holistic health coach, author, and founder of the Sugar Freedom Method. Jenn shares her personal journey from being a sugar addict with multiple health conditions to becoming a health coach dedicated to helping women overcome their sugar addiction struggles. We will dive into how Jenn's own health challenges drove her to focus on sugar addiction and how she integrates gut health optimization into her holistic health approach. Her passion for helping others shines through in this conversation, and her expertise and experience make her a true expert in the field. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and get ready to be inspired and informed by Jenn Edden as she shares her insights on tackling sugar addiction and living a healthier, happier life. Jenn Edden, welcome to the Radical Health Rebel podcast. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. So, Jenn, to kick things off, could you share perhaps your own journey with sugar addiction, what problems it caused, and how do you go about reversing it?
All right, that's like 5 shows in itself, but I will be really, really concise. So Jenn Edden, I healed myself, right? Like so many people who then get into the field in which they consider themselves experts. Sugar addiction, most of my life, I had a near ulcer, I had gastritis. I come from a family of mental illness, bipolar, depression. You can only imagine, right, how sugar just weaves into that and things worse. And so I healed myself of depression. Anxiety, I believe, is a condition that's healable. Gastritis, near ulcer, intestinal issues for decades. No doctors could figure it out. And I did that 20 years ago this year at the time of us recording.
Wow.
I'm certified as a holistic health coach, and I've been coaching ever since. Yeah.
Amazing. So who did you train with to be a holistic health coach?
Oh, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York.
Okay. Yep. I'm aware of that.
I'm a graduate of 2004. And
awesome. Well, congratulations on your 20 years.
Yeah. Plus I went to medical school and I'm a biochemist because I thought that that's how I wanted to help people. Go figure. God had a different plan. And so I became a biochemist. I was like, what am I going to do with that? Medical school did not work for me. For me, it was too drug focused. And then I fell into being a health coach. So it all worked beautifully to be able to help people diagnose.
Yeah. How long did you spend at medical school?
Less than a year. That's all I could think. It was a lot, very drug focused. And it's not that I'm anti-drug, but I teach, let's be in the business of prevention. Drugs have their place, but they definitely don't heal from my point of view. And so I'm in the business of prevention and then undoing what's been done to the body by sugar and the inflammation that it causes. And so, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And oftentimes, the things that you do to prevent disease are the same things you would do to cure the disease anyway, right? So what were the steps that you went through in your own journey, and what was the journey like? Because I imagine, stopping sugar can be a pretty big challenge, right?
Yes. And I want to make a note for everyone that what I teach personally is not never having it again. I teach you how to kick it so it doesn't have a control on you. You don't have to have it, and then how to manage it. And that to me is, for the women who come find me, love. Yeah. So if you have a party or there's something going on, it's not I can't have it. You can't tell someone who has sugar addiction can't have any sort of addiction. It flips the switch, and then you have to have it. And so teach it in a very methodical way. But full transparency, I do not crave sugar on a daily basis. And if I want it, I'll have some. It is mild versions. It's never what it used to be. Not all sugar is created equal. And I teach women how to not have it take them over and to make them sick or keep them sick. And so that's my jam.
So what was your kind of sugar journey like? Like, how did you start on sugar? What was it like? And at what point did you think something needs to change here?
I love that. So I started, and it's amazing because I was just saying that, I'm teaching next week at my son's high school, 9th graders. And I'm so excited because for me, it started a little bit before that, but high school was really bad. But sugar, for those who believe what I say, is a socially acceptable legalized drug, socially acceptable. And so super cool to eat 2 rows of Oreos, half a gallon of ice cream in 2 nights. It's not thought about, oh, you eat a piece of cake. Well, I really want 2 or 3, or it's Halloween and it's not 1 piece of candy. It's, 10 peppermint patties, those minis, they go down real fast. And so back then didn't really notice a problem. Weight wasn't really an issue. Definitely had anxiety. Okay. It definitely plays into that and your gut health, which we can get into, but I didn't notice it as much. It's when you go to college and you start dressing up for Halloween for free candy that you start to think I have a problem. Yeah. And then you go into, you get out of there and then you start. So I worked for the funny how that works, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation after I left medical school, and I was getting sick. And so my body was breaking down in early to mid 20s. And I said, now I have a problem. And doctors just wanted to give me Pepsid AC. And they said, look, I'm on it too. And I thought, oh gosh, I better figure this out. And so I started to take steps. It did help that I got certified as a holistic health coach, started to give me the foundational principles to back it out. Yeah. And fix my gut and not have it have such a control on me, right? Where you can't say no. And so if you're listening right now, just know it's okay. Totally help. And I used to be there too, where it calls you and you have to have it or you feel like you're going to lose it. And so there's hope for that.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that, it's been discussed on this podcast by other guests as well before is you have to be really careful when you're trying to change someone's kind of dietary outlook, that you don't want them going too far the other way, because now it's like, oh my God, I'm scared to eat anything because I can't have this, right? Have you come across that? And if so, like, how have you got across that?
It's a mindset piece. And we didn't say it, but just as I reference module 3, tuning in, I am the founder of something called the Sugar Freedom Method. It's a 5-step program I created. Step 6 is fixing your gut health, mandatory. But I say it because without mindset, you're going nowhere. The mindset, the thoughts that got you into the hole you're in is not the same mindset that's going to get it out. And so we need to address that. You need a different. So it is not black and white. It is not good day, bad day. It's not perfect, imperfect. Yes, it's called life.
Yeah.
And so I teach, and it's a journey. Okay. It's not a challenge. It's not a sprint. It's a journey, and it's your healing journey. And so I start to instill those principles right away, or you're just going to get frustrated right immediately because the drug. Someone who knows they have an alcohol issue, or, for drugs, there's rehab. Yes. But for sugar, people are like, I'll be okay. Tomorrow's a new day. What's wrong with me? And in fact, there's nothing wrong with you. It's a drug. It's just not treated that way. And therefore you blame yourself, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And so I start there.
Yeah. It's interesting. You might be able to see over my shoulder. That's my latest book. It's called Eliminating Adult Acne for Good. And chapter 3 is the first part of the process, if you like. So the first couple of chapters are information. And then chapter 3 onwards, it's like, right, this is what you need to do. And chapter 3 is entitled Setting Your Mindset for Success, right? Because if you don't get that right in the first place, the rest of it's kind of irrelevant, right? And one of the things that I go through, which I think is relevant to what you're saying, is that it's really important to set your values, right? So, for instance, it might be sugar. It might say, yeah, listen, I know I need to cut down on sugar, but what I'll allow in my values is maybe to have it once a week, let's say, or twice a week, rather than saying, right, I can't have it at all. And then, 6 months down the line, you might say, actually, I don't really need sugar anymore, but it's getting that mindset right first before you kind of take the plunge. What do you think about that?
I think that's brilliant. And for me, in the area of work that I'm in, we talk about if you are just in this for weight loss because you hate, very violent word, but a lot of women come with that body hate. You're in the wrong place. You cannot come. It has to be health first, and your body will come back. Like, I'm 50 this year, and I look and feel great, knock on wood, and not because that's my focus. It's because I'm more addicted to wanting to feel good and be healthy. So I could be skiing with my kids on the mountain at 70, true story. Then, I really need my abs back. And why do I have back fat? And I can't stand this 30 pounds. Like, you need a shift. It can't just be for the body because it's too shallow and it'll go the minute you want sugar. The screw it day. It's got to be seeing what I teach as, does this hurt my body or does this help and heal my body? And when we start to make that distinction, women no longer say, I really can't have that protein bar or the gum or the yogurt or I don't know, all this garbage they feed us, here in the States. And they start to really see it as, I really don't want to hurt myself today. How about a piece of fruit? Or how about I eat more of the way Jenn's talking, this anti-inflammatory way, because I don't want to feel inflamed tomorrow, right? For me, anxiety is an inflammation of the mind, of the brain, I should say, and of the gut. And so when we start to have that distinction, women start to say, wow, I naturally have more self-control. And I'm like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And again, that's done from mindset, isn't it? It's just changing the mindset to rather than, I've got to lose this weight. Actually, I just want to feel better, and I know if I eat this, I'm not going to feel better.
It doesn't work the other way. If it worked the other way, do it. But I find it doesn't work for the scale to run you for, oh gosh, the scale is up, or I feel so fat. Women love to say that about, I feel so fat and now I'm going to skip lunch. Not in midlife, ladies. What that'll do is make your blood sugar swing, piss off your insulin cortisol levels. And now you're just going to start packing on weight. And so if it worked, I'd say, hey, whatever works. Listen, I'm all about simple, fun, and easy. Really, that's what my method is. Simple, fun, and easy, and just do what works. And I live by that, And so if it worked, do it. But it doesn't work. It actually does the opposite. And so I don't like to live with insanity, and that's insanity. Yeah. Doing things over and over and over, thinking that they're going to change, but they're not. And so, I love that you start with mindset. It's mandatory. For long term, it's mandatory.
So you went through your own experience. You're addicted to sugar. You went and trained at the ION. You healed yourself. What was the motivation then to go on and help others?
I was always going to help people. No motivation needed. So I wanted to be a doctor to help people. And when that didn't work, I just found another avenue. And, all right, we'll say this. I found that I was duped, for lack of a better way to say it, so many times by the diet industry, by doctors, through no fault of their own, they're trained the way they are, that I said, I'm just going to help people not be taken advantage of. I'm going to do it in a way that what I teach is understanding yourself, so you don't necessarily need to depend on anyone else when we're done. Right? Understand your body gives you clues. We're just not taught that in school. What does that mean when the body gives us clues? And so I teach you to be self-reliant. That's my thing. Yeah.
Why do you think most people become addicted to sugar?
Become addicted?
Yeah.
I'm going to be teaching this at the high school next week. It's in everything. And I'm not into conspiracy theory, so I'm just going to skip that. And it's in everything. And it's a socially acceptable legalized drug. And do you think the cookies on the shelf with more sugar or less sugar are going to sell? Come on.
Yeah.
And so it's a combination of stuff. And I'm teaching this at the school. Our lifestyle has changed. Family life has changed. Social media, pressures of kids and in families and what's going on with, the mean average of what people are making, but expenses are going up. And so there's a lot more stress. Society is moving way faster. I mean, I used to ride my bike in Brooklyn. Yeah. And like, that's what I did in the afternoon. And now, like kids are getting all these EMFs coming at them, tons of stress, tons of pressure that I didn't have growing up, getting into college and like just so much pressure. And while sugar doesn't actually make it better, it does hit your dopamine centers, yes?
Mm.
And what it'll do is give you that almost that it's going to be okay, right up until it's not okay and the cycle repeats itself. But it is relieving temporarily, yes, this pressure that I feel that I feel like, we didn't have growing up. Different pressure, different pace of life.
Yeah, I guess, leading on from that as well is the fact that, a lot of these sugary foods, they're convenient, right? You can just pick them up. They're in a packet. You can take them wherever you want. If you feel hungry, there you go. And,
Right.
and they're everywhere, right? So, a lot of clients will say things to me like, well, I was out at the time and the only thing that was available was junk food. So that's what I had. And I try to get across to them, okay, well, could you not prepare for that situation a bit better than being reliant on the situation that you found yourself in? Why not control the situation?
Thank you for that.
And
Yes. And it's cheap too. Let's just add, it's cheap.
yeah,
It's almost like, oh, right, I've got $1.50 in my pocket, up bag of chips, up a piece of fruit or something else, a sandwich, right? It's yeah, they get you coming and going.
mm, yeah. I mean, I have a saying that convenience kills, right? And convenience foods are so, I was going to use the word deadly, but I mean, over the long term, they probably are.
Yes, they are. Well said. And we've grown accustomed to that that's food. And I teach, that's not actually food that you're eating. And women go, what? I go, it's not actually food. How many things in that label can you read? But it says whole grain, but it says zero sugar, but it says, vitamins. And I was like, well, let's have a conversation about what that really means. And so there's an educational piece, module 2 of the sugar freedom method, clarify it. Let's clarify our food and what's in it. And that is mind blowing for people, right? We've gone away from being educated around like what food is truly. People think packages are food. It's not food to me.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
I completely agree. I mean, I haven't been to supermarkets for about 25 years. And I literally, if I go into a supermarket, I just start getting anxious and I just don't want to be there, I mean, unfortunately in 2020, my usual food outlet wasn't available because of what was going on. And I had to queue up for 400 yards outside the supermarket. And then when I went inside, it was just, for me, it was just such a stressful event because I just see what to me looks like zombies just picking up what you guys would call trash, putting it in their baskets, and that's what they're nourishing their bodies with, and it was just horrible to see. And that's without considering all the one-way lanes and things like that was going on at the time.
Yes, you're reminding me of what I didn't share earlier, which I don't need to. But so I'm from New York, Brooklyn, clearly, but I live in Flagstaff, Arizona now. And my family and I decided as a family, we would get up. It was on our bucket list. It was on my bucket list of my husband. We would sell everything we own, get in an RV, literally sell everything except our skis and a couple of things, get in an RV, pack our Jeep up, and travel the country till we found the next place that we wanted to call home. And I say that because I got to see a lot of the United States. Now, COVID had hit, and so we didn't get to Pacific Northwest, but I wouldn't live there anyway because it's too rainy. But I bring it up because I remember going through the states and I could always find something that I could then cook in the RV because we did all of our cooking because I don't really like what's out there. So it was very minimal. But I remember North Dakota, borderline North and South Dakota. Maybe it was South Dakota. And I went into a grocery store and I just started to cry. And my husband is like, Joe was like, are you crying? I said, yes, we've been in here 10 minutes and there is nothing in here I will eat except this one bag of organic lettuce. And it's the last one. Can we please grab it? So, the dirty dozen is a big deal in our country. Like we don't eat, I teach my kids apples. I'm not eating, 25 plus pesticides. So I couldn't grab the apples. There were no bananas. It was shelves worth of processed food and one bag of organic lettuce. And I literally broke down and was crying. Even in the frozen food, they didn't have any of my organic brands that are at least reasonable. Nothing. It was Chef Boyardee. It was, I'm thinking, because we don't, Green Giant. It was these like monster brands that are poisoning our world. And I remember going, I will buy nothing here. Nothing. Let's go buy the bag of lettuce. And I left crying. So I feel you. It's the first time I ever cried because I can always find something. It was zero. And I was like crying for the people who live here that this is where they shop. So I'm with you. I feel you.
Yeah.
Empath. When I feel it, I'm like, here we go.
Mm-hmm. So
that was rough.
Right now we're probably living in a situation where the unhealthiest humans that have ever lived on the planet. But what, in your opinion, does it mean to actually be healthy? Julie, a 47-year-old who works in computer sales, came to see me complaining of lifelong irritable bowel syndrome, which included severe abdominal pain and bloating, loose and very frequent stools, along with hot flushes, menstrual brain fog, and low energy, which affected her work performance. After taking a comprehensive history, plus running some labs, I discovered that Julie had a parasite infection, which may have been causing the loose stools, a methane-producing bacterial overgrowth that was almost certainly causing the abdominal bloating and pain, a leaky gut, low levels of digestive enzymes, as well as eating too many high oxalate foods on her vegetarian diet. So Julie reduced the high oxalate foods from her diet, plus she took a broad-spectrum antimicrobial supplement to help with the parasites and the bacteria in her gut, probiotics to increase her good bacteria and help repair her gut lining. She also took prebiotics to help feed the commensal bacteria, digestive enzymes to improve her digestion, and herbs to help clear the toxic lipopolysaccharides from her system produced by the overgrowth of gram-negative bacteria. At the end of the program, Julie reported that her health had never been better. In her own words, the improvement is staggering. The abdominal pain and bloating was gone. Her stools were back to normal. Her energy was up. She no longer had brain fog or hot flashes, and her immune system had improved as she no longer suffered from frequent bugs and colds. If you're suffering like Julie was and you want to get to the root cause of your problem, you can arrange a consultation with me at bodycheck.co.uk. That's BODYCHEK. And if we're a good fit, I could help you achieve the same kind of results as Julie. Now, back to the podcast.
I love that question. You ready? Wake up feeling good. It's a concept. Joint pain, you're joint pain free, like you're free of pain in your body. You wake up and your mind feels sharp. You wake up and you have energy and you don't have to have a cup of coffee. You can have it, but you shouldn't need it to function. Your brain, your mind should be sharp. You should not have joint pain. You should be going to I'm going to say it, the bathroom regularly. For me, I tell my women, get up, drink up to 20 ounces of water, let it flush your body out. You should have a movement. I mean, I can go all day, but and you go to bed at night and you can sleep and you sleep through the night. And you don't have cravings. I teach cravings are just, wait for it, an imbalance in the body. It's not normal, meaning, oh yeah, I just have them every day. And no, your body is out of balance somewhere. It is our job and your job when I teach you how to figure out how to bring yourself back. And so, yeah, that to me is healthy living.
Yeah, I would say one of the things that I guess I've learned working with people over many, many years is that when you don't have health, what it does, it limits your capacity to do the things that you want to do in life. And actually it's not just, I haven't come across, I haven't come to that conclusion just based on working with clients. When I've had injuries myself, right? I'm still very active. I still play a lot of sport. I still go to the gym 3-4 times a week.
Right.
So occasionally, there's going to be the odd injury there, here and there. But 10 years ago, I badly damaged my lower back. I blew 2 discs out of my lumbar spine.
Wow.
I had a drop foot. I couldn't walk properly. And now I've gone from someone being very active, very mobile, to someone who can barely walk. I couldn't sit in a chair, so I couldn't get in a car. I had to use public transport to get to the hospital to get an MRI scan, and I had to stand on the bus, ironically in the handicapped space.
Like changing.
And it just made you realize that, there are people like that, they live their life like that all the time. Now I healed myself, it took a long time, but I healed myself completely, and I'm completely back to being able to do anything I want to do. But it's just really sad when, people's bodies are out of balance, whatever that might look like. And it just prevents them from leading life to the full and really enjoying themselves and really being productive and getting the most out of life. Because, as far as I know, we only get one shot at this one anyway, right?
That's right. That's right.
So
it's not just rehearsal. That's right.
Yeah. So when you're healthy, it enables you to live a full life. But when you're not healthy, you're greatly restricted in terms of what you can do and really how happy you can be.
And I just want to add to that because I agree with everything you said. I love it. Wish you were my neighbor here. I'm like, let's go. It's a choice. I always say it to calm myself because like the helping thing is in my genes since I was little. I remember I was in first grade and like I got in trouble. See, the kindergarten to first grade, literally I got in trouble and the teacher called my mother and said, listen, Jennifer is not doing her work because she's going desk to desk helping everybody. And I thought, is that a thing? You can get in trouble for that? But my point is like, I've been helping since like kindergarten. What are you, like 5 or 6? And so what I've learned now that I'll be 50 this year is it's a choice. So like, it's a choice. And I tell my clients, you're here with us, it's a choice to get healthy. It's not a have to. Personally, I make it a get to in my life because like I like feeling great and not being dependent on anyone, any substance, any food to make or break me. I ain't interested. And I don't want to be on drugs in my 60s, 70s, 80s. I really don't. I kind of just want to go like that, maybe skiing on a mountain or something. And so, and I think aging the way they say, oh, he's 70, he had a stroke, it is because he's old or she, I call BS. I don't think we're supposed to age that way. I think that's just a bag of goods we've sold. And people normalize these things, these dysfunctions in our body and this dis-ease as old age. And I call it BS. I call it we didn't take care of ourselves. The body's ability to detoxify, from my experience, greatly decreases as our age number goes up. And so we have to watch the chemicals going in because they don't come out as fast as they used to. And so I'm really a chemical expert. Like, I don't want to put that on my body. And, I'll color my hair and I'll do makeup stuff, but I am really careful about the detergent, about the creams, about the nail polish. Like, I am mindful about all the chemicals, not just the food, because the detoxification process really does, in my experience, change. And it's not that we're getting heavier when we're older. You're not detoxifying from all the crap you're eating, and it's storing in your fat tissues because the body is so smart. And so anyway, I can go on, but I won't go on.
Yeah. And the issue is, most food that people are eating, as you said, are toxic. But then you've got all the, as again, you said, all the products that people put on their skin. And again, don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but all the stuff that they're spraying in the sky now and the stuff that's in our water supply, and you can just go on. And
That's right.
A lot of people say, well, we've got a liver and we've got a detoxification system. And my response to that would be, yeah, and 300-400 years ago, it could probably cope with all the natural toxins that we were, was in our environment back then. But now we've got hundreds of thousands of more toxins. Some of those we've got no capacity to deal with anyway, not without any, external. So, for instance, aluminium or aluminum, as you call it, there's no natural way for the human body to detoxify that because it was never until we started mining it out of the ground, it was never a substance that we ever came into contact with. So you're right. Detoxification is really, really important.
It is. Yeah. I'm going to hold my tongue, but I'm not. I'm going to say something really quick. And to each his own on the whole vaccine controversy, because this is about today. And I just want to say, with children, growing up, we here in the US, I had a few vaccines. Mm-hmm. And when I was raising my kids and they started to send me the vaccine schedule, I mean, I'll just say it because I'm going to say it here. Absolutely not for my children. And so it's just more of this, we start out with, used to have 5 or 6. And now there's 50 or 60 vaccines just because you said aluminum and made me think, and this stuff is just going in at an early age. And so, yeah, we're affected when we're older because we don't even know what to do with the stuff that went into our bodies in childhood. And so that's all I'm going to say on it. But you just have to be aware of everything going in. Let me say that. And so it's everything. And since we're really here with sugar, as my topic today, you keep saying it and I keep going right on. Food is either medicine or food is poison. Yeah. And just own that. My grandmother, Conchetta, she died at 96. I love that woman. An apple a day. There's no joke about. I grew up, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I get it. And, you pay the food bill or you pay the doctor. I agree. We literally don't have copays in our house. We don't because we don't go to the doctor. And I don't think I stress that enough when I talk on these podcasts. Literally, I think, and I have 3 kids, by the way. The oldest is 16, excuse me. The littlest one is 11 now. And the middle one's 14. And I say it because we literally don't go to the doctor. We may have gone to the doctor 5 times total between 3 children. And 1 kid has had an antibiotic. One. And I don't say it that I'm special or there's anything wrong with if your kids have to go to the doctor. I'm just going to say the way they ate, they didn't have dairy till they're 1. I'm just going to say it here. We didn't vaccinate. They can when they're older. I just didn't want to put all these things in them. And they ate organic and they were breastfed each till 18 months. My kids don't get sick. Now, did one come out with some rashes? Absolutely. And we had to fix that. We went to specialists and I figured it out. She had a little something. So it's not a perfect world. She had a gut issue, actually. She had leaky gut, and we can talk about that. And so she has a sensitivity, and we're mindful now at 11. She's like, Mom, little rash, and she knows what she needs to do. But my point is, it's not just one thing. It's cumulative. So if people listening to us today, it's not just one thing. It's cumulative. And I believe it adds up. And so don't get overwhelmed from our talk today, our conversation, but pick one thing you want to start backing out. And that's what I always take one thing and start backing it out. Yeah. Your snacks, your dinners, the chemicalized drinks from Starbucks, the buys and the Celsius and the Monster drinks and the Coke and the Diet Coke and all these these infused, flavored, toxic, chemicalized things. Start taking, I'm going my rant, I'll stop. Start taking those out and you will notice a difference in your health. I had a client take out gum. She took out her gum. I said, we can't be doing that. It's sucralose. She goes, really? Her memory started to come back. I'm like, that's extraordinary. I mean, I knew it would, right? It's lit. Anyway, little things. Little. And they add up. So don't be overwhelmed from us talking today. Little things add up.
So one of the things you mentioned just now is gut health.
Yes.
So how important do you think gut health is, and what effects does sugar addiction have on the gut? When 35-year-old Amanda first scheduled to see me, she'd been suffering for 19 years from severe IBS, diarrhea, and fecal incontinence, along with abdominal pain and bloating. Her condition had not only made life uncomfortable for Amanda, but very inconvenient as she had to walk 2 hours to work every day along a route that had public toilets, and she'd never been on holiday as an adult because of her condition. The only advice that several doctors and specialists had given Amanda was to take Imodium, and when she first saw me, she was taking 5 Imodium a day and wasn't getting any better. To help Amanda, I ran tests to find out what foods were right for her metabolic type, to see which foods she was sensitive to, and to assess her gut microbiome. Tests showed that Amanda had several food sensitivities and a parasite infection. Over the coming weeks, I coached Amanda to eat right of her type and to replace the foods she was sensitive to, and a protocol to deal with her parasite infection. And after 3 months, Amanda was IBS free, and she also reported her skin was much improved and she had lost weight. And she booked a holiday for her and her husband to New York, as they'd never been on a proper honeymoon because of her IBS. And if you're suffering like Amanda was, and you want to get to the root cause of your problem, you can arrange a consultation with me at www.bodycheck.co.uk. And if we're a good fit, I could help you achieve the same kind of results as Amanda. Now, back to the podcast.
It's everything. Gut health is everything. It's the first thing I start with sugar. I start with your gut health, and I start with your diet. And when you get your gut health on track, God bless you, and you start getting chemicals out and we start tweaking your food, those two things alone, I've seen miracles happen. Blood pressure goes down, cholesterol goes down, belly fat, anxiety goes down. We start to sleep again. We get our memory back. Our acne clears. Our headaches go away. And so gut health is numero uno for me. Without that, and to answer your question, sugar takes out your gut health. And the sucralose and all these artificials, I'm teaching a class on that right now in the Freedom Club, which is where I now house the sugar. I'm all about freedom. Sugar Freedom Method, the Freedom Club. And I'm teaching a full-week gut health class in there, actually, this week. We're on class 2. And I talk about how the bad bacteria is fed in your gut by artificial sweeteners, makes those little buggers grow. And so we're not doing ourselves any good saving calories, zero sugar. We're taking out our gut health. And without that, you're taking out your immune system, and you're taking out the serotonin, which is the feel-good hormones that feed your brain. So let's go.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation about it. You're in my world now. Yeah. Very important. It's everything. Okay. It's everything.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, I say the first thing is mindset. The second thing is the gut. Right. And I'm sure you agree with that. Yeah. And what you just mentioned briefly as well is, you know, it's the gut brain axis as well. And how if your microbiome is dysbiotic, that can lead to things like depression, anxiety, and all sorts of kind of mental issues as well. So that's a major factor, isn't it?
Major. And while I agree with you on the mindset piece, this is where my friend cuts me off. Some people can't get, okay, so most women come to me with anxiety stuff, okay? And don't get me started on constipation and colon cancer. Most women come to us with gut dysbiosis, and they're constipated for years, and doctors just say, oh, it's menopause. And I'm like, have your doctor call me. Here's my cell phone number. I'm sick of it, okay? I'm sick of it. There's so many things. We fix constipation. Okay. We fix those things. It's not related. It is, but it's not. But my point is, a lot of times if there's a lot of anxiety, I say, look, just follow our protocol. And if you can't get your mind right, it's okay. I'll get your mind right through the back door of fixing your gut. And they go, oh, you're right. I feel a little more hopeful. And so I sometimes need to fix the gut, and women, God bless them, go on blind faith that I've been doing this so long. And they say I'm so confident and convincing that they're like, all right, I'll just come. I trust you. I said, thank you so much. That's why I offer a guarantee and a money back guarantee. Just come. Let us help you so you're not, like you said, stuck, you know, in this one body, miserable. And you got decades ahead of you. Like, who wants to live in that way? You know, not me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So when you're working with someone, so you start with mindset, the gut would be next.
Yeah, it's the 5-step method. Let's go there. But I tell women to jump around, okay, with where they need. So if mindset really is a mess, it's great. I teach that once a month in the club. So you work on your mindset. And then you work on nutrition. That's another call a month, nutrition. And so you start upping your nutrition, and gut health is one of the first things, right? So it's your mindset. It's tweaking your food to get some chemicals out while you're working on your gut health. I'm going to tell you now, module 1 of the method is visualize it. And if you've got a schedule that is crazy and you have no time for anything, everything you and I just talked about ain't going to work. So I make them, let's look at your schedule. Let's look at your boundaries and lack of boundaries around your schedule, and that you can't say no, because that's the stuff. It's a foundation. Yeah. If you're so packed, well, you're not going to remember to drink a glass of water when you wake up. And you're not going to be able to actually eat real food, and you're eating the processed stuff because your schedule is a problem. But what the problem with your schedule is, you don't say no, and you're going, and your mother, like mine, was like always busy. My mother always says she's busy. I'm like, God, you're 76. You work some, no one's in the house, you're not married. Like, what do you got to do on a Sunday? I'm busy, Jennifer. Okay. Busy is a disease of the mind. And I have to undisease that. And so, it's all these pieces. So we do that, your schedule. Please tell me.
Just going to quickly jump in, because there's a great saying that says your yes has no value until you learn how to say no.
Oh, I've never heard that.
That's pretty deep, isn't it? You know,
say it again. Your yes has value.
Your yes has no value until you learn how to say no.
That's beautiful.
Which is really another way of saying you really need to set boundaries, right? And I know a lot of people that are, people pleasers have a real problem setting boundaries, don't they? And often I find as well, working with women, particularly mothers, they have a real challenge, managing their diary, as you've just mentioned, but also putting themselves first for a change, because they're so used to putting their kids first.
Right.
But it's like, I try and say to people, when you're on an airplane and you're getting the safety instructions, what do they say about the oxygen mask?
Right.
You put your own one on first, right, before helping others. And what I try and get across to when I'm working with mothers is you've got to put your own health first, because not only does that make you the best mother that you can be, because if you're not doing well because you're not eating right and you're getting to bed too late and you're too busy, etc., you can't be the best mother. That's one thing. The second thing is your children will watch what you do. They won't listen to what you tell them to do. So if you're leading an unhealthy life, guess what? Your children are going to do the same thing, regardless of what you suggest that they do.
That's right. Get them where it hurts. I always get it in the children. I'm like, you want to be around to see them? You want to see your grandkids? Because the direction you're going, you ain't going to be around. And I don't say it to be a meanie. I say it because it's the truth. And we don't see that when we're in the forest, right? We're not above the trees looking out. We're in it with the everyday, with the finance issues, with the spouse, with the job we need to go to provide for those who, I work with a lot of working mothers too, right? Who work outside the house. And it's like, we're in it, so we can't see it. And we don't actually see, with everything we have going on now, forget the dang 20 pounds of belly fat. How about all the surgeries you've had? You're not sleeping anymore. Bags under your eyes. Your adrenals are failing. We got way bigger issues, sister, than the 30 pounds around your belly. I'm like, that's not the issue. What the issue is, the decline in your health. And so I say the same. And it's a learned behavior. They learned it from their mothers. And so we talk about that. And I do not teach that. I have 2 girls and a boy. And they see me. Where you going? I'll be right back. Love you. Give me a kiss, hug. I'm going for a walk, going to the gym. I'm taking a break. You need me? Okay, I need 10 more minutes. I'm laying down. I'm drinking a cup of tea. Give me 10. And they see it's okay. Self-care is not selfish. But when you're raised that way, or you come from a family of narcissistic behavior like I did, we get very confused about that stuff. So I always say, well, I come first and my family comes always. I come first My family comes always.
Mm.
And then it's not first and second because my family can't come second. They come always. I can almost have a tear saying that.
Yeah.
But I come first.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
always.
Yeah, I like that. So I know, everyone is different individually, particularly when it comes to nutrition. But can you perhaps talk through how you work with people with their nutrition?
Yes. And I want to say, I love what you just said. Everyone's body is different. The
Mm.
sugar free method isn't a diet. It's let's figure out what inflames you, right? You got to figure out what inflames you. People say quinoa. That's like the grain. I'm like, quinoa, just just dig the hole for my grave. Like, what? I go, yeah, high in lectins takes me out, and my body does not do well with grains. I have never been diagnosed with autoimmune. Neither have the women who come see us. Most, but some have it. But I am definitely so you got to know your body. Yeah. People are like, you got to be vegan and vegetarian. I go, got it. I've tried that. I've done it. It's death warmed over. You eat meat? Yeah. And it's okay for me and my body type. Yeah. But it's grass fed. It's the best I can find. God bless. I always pray it's humanely raised. I got a big thing. And if my body would do great vegan, I'd be a vegan. I don't really like how we raise the animals, and I don't like what we do. So, right. And I teach that stuff. So the lamb and the pork is out because I don't like what you do to them, regardless of grass fed. We're not doing that. But I teach you to understand your body. And I've never met a person who was allergic to all protein, that was allergic to all fruits, was allergic to all vegetables, and was allergic to all fats, right? And there's some grains, there's some carbohydrates in there. I just find most people don't do well with most carbohydrates, right? They really need the complex. And so those are like a sweet potato. There's not that many I enjoy. They can do oats, but they need to be gluten-free because we have gluten sensitivities from all the overdoing of the gluten. In the United States, our gluten ain't Italy's gluten, right? Like it's different. Don't get me started up. You could die eating wheat in the United States, but I go to Italy and I'm like, hey, give me some pasta. And it's not the same food, okay? And so we do it, finding what works for a woman. And in midlife, please, we need more protein. Please, we need more good quality fats. Please, fruits, we can go without those. I'll say it out loud. Some is good, but it's got fructose. Let's go. And most of it isn't the way it used to be produced, and vegetables, right? So there are these basics, and women find from working with us, well, what are the basics for you that work for your body? Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you go about working out what works for any individual?
Oh, I love that. Well, first we start by eliminating toxins, right? It's the coolest thing. When you start taking out toxins and you heal your gut, the body very quickly will start to tell you what it likes and it doesn't. But when you're bombarded all day long with chemicals and your taste buds are all masked by garbage, you don't even know how things taste anymore. You can't even taste things that have chemicals. So women start to go, wow, that fizzy drink from Arbonne or whatever else is scamming you out there. Yeah. I'm going to call them all out. The Optavia and all this nonsense. They go, wow, I can't eat that anymore. I go, great. I didn't tell them not to do it, right? Their tongues tell them that's chemicals. And then we do have something called a 30-day experience. We have it. You don't have to do it, but women, they do love it when they're ready. And what it is, it's pretty much an autoimmune protocol. And it takes out all sensitivities, that like all of them, so the soys and the bad oils and the high fructose fruits. Yeah. And it takes out those things, takes out all the heavy grains that affect people. Nuts are inflammatory. I'm so sorry to say it, for many, many people. And don't get me started on almond butter and peanut butter. If you actually research it, it's like sludge, and there's mold in peanut butter. And I don't really want to go there today. But it takes these things out. And for 30 days, your body gets to eat real food that typically no one is sensitive to. Now, if you have a sensitivity, I'll know, because you won't be losing weight, right? You won't be sleeping well. Your bowels won't move. And I'll say, okay, let's talk about eggs potentially, right? For you. Let's talk about other things. But we take out the glutens and the dairies and the high fructose fruits, right? The bad oils. And your body starts to go, oh my God, it comes back. And then when you want to add things back in slowly, you immediately get a reaction. Oh my gosh, my hands hurt. Oh my gosh, I had anxiety the next day. Oh my gosh, I stopped sleeping. Oh my God, I got a hot flash. Oh my God, I was constipated for 2 days, right? And the body like goes back into balance. And then you immediately start to notice all the things before. Does that make sense? That were normal?
Yeah.
Well, no acne and then acne, or eczema, no eczema. And so it's extraordinary. And I exaggerated, like meaning I told you very fast, but it's, no one's doing that month one.
Yeah.
We're just fixing your gut and we're getting out some toxins. You can even hear how I say it, because if you jump in, the body goes into shock. And if your bowels aren't moving and your liver isn't properly getting toxins out, I'm not interested. I'm just going to back everything back up into your body. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So slow and steady. You stay or go month to month. The Freedom Club it's a gift from God. It's a year old this now, April, right? And you just hang out with us. Yeah. So that's how we do it.
Yeah. There's no quick fixes, is there?
Quick fix. I always say the quicker it comes off, the quicker it's going to go back on.
Yeah.
I'm a lot slow and steady wins the race. And so I like slow weight loss. It doesn't mean it's a pound a month. I like it slow off. Women go, oh my gosh, I went on vacation, Jen. Either they weren't up or it was a pound or two and they know it's all inflammation. And they're like, oh, and it came right back off in 3 days. I'm like, you're welcome. Because that's what it should be. It shouldn't be we go away and we're up 10. Oh, God. What? That's not healthy and that's not fun. So yes, slow off, slow on. Yeah.
Are you familiar with Sally Norton? No. So Sally's been on my podcast. She wrote a book called Toxic Superfoods. And it's all about oxalates. And it's interesting, a lot of the foods that you've mentioned that you cut out are actually high in oxalates. It's a great book. I'd highly recommend it if you've not read her book. It's a really good book. So that's quite interesting. So you start with mindset, you go to gut, you go more into diet. What comes next?
I love that you asked. So how do I live this? This one is missing from everyone. I am a permanent lifestyle change. The Sugar Freedom Method is literally how I live with 3 kids and a family and a business and a dog, and mental illness in my family. Like, it's how I live. And so do I get inflamed? Yeah. Few on, few off, hands hurt, hands don't hurt. But I know how to live it. I know how to go on vacation. I know how to be at social events. I know how to go out to dinner. And I teach this. Getting on an airplane is really inflaming. It is. We got 80+% water and we've got major changes in atmospheric pressure. And if you think that doesn't affect us, I got a bridge to sell you, and it's in Brooklyn. And so we have to understand these things. We have to understand social pressure. And it's not like, oh, I can't have it. That's not my jam. My jam is if it's a party or it's something and you want the wine. A lot of women come at wine stuff. You have all these challenges, like a deep breath. It's okay. You got to know how not to badly inflame yourself and still enjoy yourself. Because you don't live, and I'm going to say the whole 30. Oh, I'm going to say it. Because I did the whole 30 and I was worse off or this or that. The whole 30 did its purpose, but it's missing things. Like, how do I live better consistently? I teach that too. Okay. In midlife, if you do not do what we're talking about consistently, it's game over. What I do is I do stuff consistently. The body needs consistency. It can't be, oh, I'm just going to skip lunch and I'll be down 4 pounds and I'm just going to go to bed early for 2 nights and I have energy again. Hell to the no. It takes months when I get injured or, God forbid you need an antibiotic. But then you got to fix your gut for months. And it takes time. And so module 4 is live it. Like, what? how am I going to live this, Jen? How am I going to live? Well, we got to talk to the chef about a few things. You got to ask a few questions. You got to go away and you got to know where there might be a grocery store. And if you're going to go out to eat, no problem. But if you're doing that for days and days and days and days and days, you better have a game plan because you're going to be so sick when you go home. And so I do that. And then I'll just say it because we're in it. Love it is the fifth module. So how do I love my life more? Because if you're just getting through your life, all the stuff we're talking about ain't ever going to happen. It's not, because you get a dopamine hit. You get this hit of joy, which is false, but you get it. And if you're in a toxic environment, toxic marriage, too much debt, right? You're not living within some version of your means, or you don't love the community you're in. You don't fit in, or these pieces. Yeah. You don't have enough joy. I'm thinking of this called the wheel of life, how I was trained. Creativity and joy, sex life you love. Like these things matter. If all these things are out, exercise, daily movement. If you don't have these pieces, women say, oh, I always slip back. Why do I slip back? 30 pounds on, 30 pounds off. I'm doing great for a year and then I don't. And I say, well, we need to look at the rest of your life. You're in a career that's unfulfilling. I'm sorry, Starbucks is your best friend. It's your best friend.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting, I get so much joy from my life that I don't need the sugar. If I want it, it's there, right? But I get dopamine hits from my life, from my kids, from being on amazing podcasts like this and knowing I'm affecting people's lives. I'll have a tear. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
5. Love it.
Yeah, it's important to have passion about things, isn't it? Important to have a purpose and to know what makes you happy, because a lot of people don't even know what makes them happy, right?
That's right. And that's 24 years together, 22 married. And yes, let me tell you, I'm not a marriage coach, but I tried hiring them and that doesn't work either. 100%, 100%. None of this 50-50 nonsense. 22 years married, 24 together, and we're still figuring it out. Together, don't stay together. Like, what are we doing? We're figuring it out. But it's 100. You work on yourself, I'll work on myself, and let's come together and let's see if we're still a fit. It's not blaming and pointing fingers. It's not. It's I'm going to bring my best version of myself to this marriage. You do the same, and let's see where we are. And as far as I'm concerned, that was about, $50,000 of marriage coaching wrapped up in about 35 seconds.
Have you ever heard of the I, we, all concept?
No, but I love it.
So this is referring to your core values. So you start with the I, yourself, and you set your own core values on how you're going to live your life. Once you're clear on your own core values, then you can set we core values, which is you and one other person. So you can set core values in this instance around your marriage, right? And then your all core values are values that more than 2 people hold in a group. So it could be your family, it could be your business or whatever, right? But until you get the I right first, you're going nowhere.
Lost. Looking for the other person. It's called codependency. I grew up with that with my mother and father. And that's where the sugar then comes in. I'm telling you, it's right. This is great today. It's not just one thing. All these pieces. And I just want to say, take a deep breath. I don't believe in overwhelm. Like, who said it? I think my daughter said it yesterday. My middle one, Caitlin Conchetta. I love that kid. She's like, Mom, she's like, you don't seem to get overwhelmed by much. And we got a lot going on in this house. She's so introspective at 14, self-declared vegetarian since 8. You would love her. She's the bomb. Anyway, not feeling well, got a virus, was home yesterday having some sort of meltdown that 14-year-old girls have in 8th grade. And I was talking to her and she's like, you just don't seem to get overwhelmed a lot. And I was like, love the feedback given who your grandmother is, because her grandmother lives in overwhelm. That's how I grew up. But I talked to her about, and we don't need to get into too much of this, but managing your thoughts and not having a lot of sugar. And I happen to eat really well because I know it works, but it's like knowing thyself, knowing what works for mom, knowing mom needs to go to the gym or to get out and have her own headspace 7 days a week. I go 7 days a week, and not for the body, for the mind, and the body's great too. You have to. I wouldn't look this way at 50. The body needs movement. It needs that. But yeah, you got to know yourself. And so I teach her to know herself. So she's not 50 and 60 with these issues and it's not bad. It's just when you don't address them when you're younger, you don't have a mom like me. I wish I had a mom like me. You just, you'll be fine. You'll be this. Versus, hey, Kate, let's unlink a thought from who you are. And she thanked me profusely. I had a tear. She said, I woke up, Mom. What you taught me worked. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go. And I said, Kate, I'm tired a lot. I get up and I say, well, that's a useless thought. That one's not going to help me. A better feeling thought is people need me today. Because Mom, I didn't want to get up. And I thought, well, that's a useless thought, Caitlin. Mom said to have a better one. And the better one was, well, we'll see some friends at school. They got me out of bed. And I thought, yay.
Yeah, it's just a little mind shift, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And if it ain't taught, you got to learn it at whatever age you're ready to learn it, and no judgment.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Got one more little question for you.
Sure.
So imagine someone's listening to this. They've got some kind of sugar addiction. What would be your top 3 tips for them?
Oh, I love that. Okay. First answer, right answer. Number 1, please drink more water. And when you were talking, it made me think, look, I know filtration systems can be expensive, but what's expensive? My husband found a great one. It was not expensive. It goes under the sink and it starts to filter stuff out. The last thing you want is really bad water. And at the same time, please just drink more water. We tend to be dehydrated. And caffeine and things like that, they don't hydrate, okay? They take away. And just because it's not hot out doesn't mean you're not dehydrated. If you're thirsty, it means you are over dehydrated. You have a problem. So please, please, please hydrate, okay? Cravings, a lot of times, one of the biggest is hydration. They're dehydrated. You don't even know it. It's number 1. Number 2, can we please be kind to ourselves? Can we please be kind to ourselves? I'm thirsty because I've had eating disorders. So beat up. Dear God, help us. Give ourselves grace. Give ourselves grace on this journey. It does no one any good for the little biatch to come out and dig at you. Okay. That's where sugar cravings come from. She was so nasty for so many years at me. And you can't stop a binge when you're being nasty. So please give yourself grace. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I better look this way, sound this way, and know this because I've been doing it and because it saved my life. So I have fine-tuned it. Okay. Number 3.
Let me just add to what you just said there.
Please.
So, if someone's giving themselves a hard time, just remember you're far more likely to look after yourself if you love yourself.
It's the truth.
And can you expect someone else to love you if you don't love yourself?
Oh, we're doing marriage coaching in here. I love it. Next session's pure marriage coaching. No, I'm with you. Someone can't give you what you don't already have in yourself. That's right. It's really for another day, but yes to that. Thank you. And the last one, it gave me another second to just refine it more. Can we please just start eating more real food? See, banana doesn't make us fat. I eat a banana every day. And if you could see what I look like, it's not perfect, but I look pretty dang good for 50 this year with 3 kids. Yeah. And because I eat real food. I eat real food. I eat a banana. I eat eggs. I eat avocado. I eat sunflower seeds. I eat chicken. I eat fish. That's actually how I eat. I'm just telling you what I'm going to eat later. I am going out for pizza with Joe, our favorite Italian place. Oh, they import everything from Italy. Yay. But I'm going to eat that with real onions on it. Yeah. With chicken, with the salad and some hot water with lemon. Cause I don't know. I love that. Eat real food. I do not eat a lot of the stuff in a package. I don't judge it. My kids do. I find the best I can, but I don't eat a lot of it. And so eat real food. It'll change your whole life and help with your sugar addiction.
Yeah. But we call that JERF. Just eat real food, JERF.
I'm liking this today.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to say what you just said in a different way, if you eat foods where there's just the one ingredient, you're a long way down the road, right? So if you're eating chicken, the ingredient is chicken. If you're eating apple, the ingredient is apple. If you're eating, I don't know,
banana,
Cheerios, that's not one ingredient, right? And none of them are any good. right? So yeah, just eating foods from one ingredient, which means probably that you need to spend a bit of time actually preparing your food. But that's again what you were saying. You got to live your life, right? You got to arrange your life around your goals and your core values so you can achieve what you want to achieve.
Got to prioritize yourself.
Prioritize, right? You can't manage time. You can only manage priorities.
Time is an illusion anyway. I bend time. I bend it. I'm a time bender. It's all right here. Yeah. And I just wanted to share, I love you for saying that because I teach sixth grade. It's a volunteer thing, but for I got the ninth grade gig because they're amazing there. It's my son, but my daughter's school. And my thing at the end of the day, the only thing I teach is eat one ingredient foods. And then I bring a whole bunch of one ingredient foods and I put them on a table and we talk about them. And it's like a carrot. And I just wanted to say thank you. It is so easy to understand an orange versus orange juice. It's just so easy. An orange, one ingredient. Orange juice, many other ingredients.
Yeah, if it's coming out of a carton, it will be multiple ingredients.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jenn, this has been awesome. What's next for you?
What is next? What am I teaching next? Where am I going next?
However you want to answer that question.
Oh, I plan on reaching the world. Thank you so much. One person at a time. I mean, I was thinking, is that too much to say? By the way, it's never too much to say. And you are never too much. It is one person at a time. I am always so honored to be on these podcasts like this. Change the world. Takes one.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, thank you for asking me that.
No, my pleasure. And where can people find you online?
Oh, so the way my method is simple, fun, and easy, I'm literally Jenn Edden, JennEdden, everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X now, LinkedIn, my website, jennedden.com. I am Jenn Edden. I keep it really simple. Please come follow me. Hit me up with a question. You're welcome to privately message me on my website. Happy to answer. Let me know it came from here.
Awesome. Jenn, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing today. It's been really awesome.
Thank you.
So that's all from Jenn and me for today. But don't forget, you can join me same time, same place next week on the Radical Health Rebel podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to give the show a rating and a review, and I'll see you next time.